So today I'm just going to talk about Google Classroom um, and show you guys specifically how to, first we'll look at the naming protocol because admin wants us to make sure that we're being consistent across classes and grade levels even, so the parents kind of know what to expect and how to find things, where to find things. So that's what I'll go over first. And then also the guardian thing. That's the other thing we're going to talk about today is how to invite guardians. I have access to Google Classroom now, so yay. So I apologize for the other day. I couldn't get into Google Classroom. I was a student and all that, but it's better now. Also, I have 2 or 3 resources I'm going to share. I didn't put them in this meeting because in case people aren't in the meeting, I'll just send them via email, but a few resources like just the naming protocol, so if you like a piece of paper, you can have that. And then for Google Classroom, there's some notes about setting that up, and then also a little cheat sheet and something you can even send out to your parents that walks them through step by step on how to get on Google Classroom and where to find things. So that's what I'm going to go over today. So let's get started. Let's see, first up, I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see, and I'm going to go in Google Classroom. Feel free to go in Google Classroom yourself too to play around with it and start creating your own classes. So I'm going to choose share screen. And share my desktop. Okay, can you all see my desktop now? All right, awesome. So this was the slideshow I was talking about that I'm going to share with you. This is what I started trying to show you the meeting the other day. The first few things are just what Abby went over, so I'll probably delete those since she already shared those with you and talked about it. But I wanted to point out specifically this classroom cheat sheet. So if you forget how to do any particular thing, it might be on here, so you can check that out, and then it links to a little screencast tutorial to show you. All right, heading over to Google Classroom. So in your classes, so I've got these set up. You can see all my classes here, and each one of them follows the same pattern for naming. So you want to have the name of the class. So I've got reading 3, and then your name, and then the time. And the way you do that is when you create the class, it goes in the description. So I put the time down here. I like that, but I doubt that if they, admin would be picky about that, where it goes, just so it is in there too. But I kind of like how that's laid out. So name of the class, your name, and the times. Now let's go in the class.
Mrs. Walker, can I just interrupt a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Yeah, you guys.
That is the format we would like for them to follow. So
Awesome.
the name, the teacher's name, and the time for every class.
Okay.
So you've set it up perfectly right.
Yeah. Phew. Okay, so we're in the class now. So this is my reading 3 class. And one thing we want to train the students, sorry, I guess we don't really teach them to do, is to always go to classwork to find their assignments, because you know, in the stream that can get bogged down if students are asking questions or you're having them post work, and then so they end up having to scroll a lot, and looking for things gets confusing the more stuff is in there. So I like to keep that kind of just free for the more social elements for kids, so that they can use that to talk to one another or post their work, you know, share a selfie, something like that. So teach them to go to classwork tab right there. And then you can see this is all set up and organized by week. In Google Classroom, you're not able to create separate folders for things. So what you can create to organize your things are topics. So we want to organize our topics in the same way too, keep consistency with that. So name them by the week. So I have my week 1 down here, and then also with the date. And then if admin is on, can you chime in if they need to add anything else to that one?
No, I think we want, like we said names and dates. One of the things that when we get to the video, and I don't know if you're going to show about putting those together in a certain location, Miss Walker, but
Putting what
those we
together?
wanted, by dates, naming those by dates as well. Or if you're, you're putting multiples out there, you might want to put reading.
Oh, right now I'm just
8:25.
talking about the topics, not the assignment.
Right. Yes.
So these are like the folders or the categories.
Right. That will work. Dates. Yes. I like the weekly thing. That works well.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so then the weeks, what I did too, and I thought, again, I like this idea, but for the intro stuff, because we have to have our welcome video and letter and any other course material, like our scope and sequence for the first 9 weeks. So we have to have some place to put that that's easy to find on Google Classroom as well. So I created a topic called Teacher Welcome and Class Information. So that's where you could post everything related to that that you would normally share at open house. So let me just go ahead and pop in there real quick. Here's our material. So this is obviously not my welcome back video because that's not me, but I wanted to show you what it would look like housed in there. So when you click on the welcome video, your video is attached there. I'm going to go back to the main thing. There we go. And show you an assignment now. So I have, again, to go to classwork to look for my assignments, I could easily go to week 1 and see any assignments and materials that pertain to week 1. So this would be an assignment that I actually added in. And I need to go. So when you are creating an assignment, you want to name it.
It's because
You want to name it with the day is what I was thinking would be a good way to organize it. So especially for your videos. So you could have the date for your video. Let me show you the video lesson. All right. So when you save your videos, your Zoom videos, you want to save it with the date. So 8/4/2020 was this one. I know it says Math 6. We're in reading again. It's just an example to put in there. So you want to name it with the date. And then I also thought it'd be a good idea to label it with the subject or the topic that it pertained to for that week. And then when you create the assignment, you just simply have to name it with the day and what it is. So Wednesday's video lesson, Tuesday's video lesson. Just always keep the day in there on that and the date on here. And again, I'm going to send you a little one-sheeter that has the specific steps for setting this up too, with an example of what it looks like, so everybody can follow.
And again,
that.
Ms. Walker, we do want the date and the name of the subject too, because the students are going to have more than one video. So having the date and the subject for that video together as it's saved is easier for the students to be able to pull up. So we want it that way. That's perfect.
So this is good, the date with the video, but you don't need the date on the assignment, right? Because it shows that when you post it?
Correct.
Okay.
The date and the video, it's saved that way with the subject matter. So how you've saved that video is just how we want the video saved.
Okay, great. All right. Other questions about setting up what it should look like? Because I'm going to move over to the guardians and inviting guardians now. So
hey, this is Ryman. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Can we organize everything under, so I understand by topic and by week, but can we organize everything by assignment? So like we'll set the assignment as like, Wednesday and then the date for that. And then they click on that and then the video and everything is within that assignment. Does that make sense?
Well, I think the video just, because you have to save the video separately. So when you save the video, make sure the video name has that date in it.
Okay, but we can organize that under an assignment. So if we create an assignment for the day, we can attach the video as material under that assignment.
I suppose, I mean, yes, you could, but I think if we keep it, if we're consistent and we all do it the same way, it might be confusing if parents, expect to see them as separate posts from some teachers and then, in an assignment from other teachers.
Okay.
So I didn't really set the video up to be an assignment, but admin, I don't know, what do you think? Together, separate?
Dawn is agreeing with what you just said, Ms. Walker, that it would be nice to keep the video separate. And that way it's consistent for everybody as opposed to embedded in the assignment.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Also, Ryman, because I think, sometimes I know myself, I in the past have put in a couple assignments for that day, I may split them up into different things. So then the kids might not know which assignment housed the video if you ended up doing that. So yeah, I guess keep them separate. Assignments one place and then the video the next. But as long as when you are creating an assignment, you put everything under the correct topic, then they're going to know, where to go to find all of that. Does that everybody know how to create an assignment? Any questions on that? Okay. So let's go over to People tab now. All right, so here is where you are able to add other teachers to co-teach with you. So you just click the little person icon right there to invite teachers if you are team teaching. Your students, you guys will be happy to know that, we were talking about how you had to enter the emails one by one. Well, actually you don't. You can bulk add students or invite them. So for example, if I click here, I'm going to invite some students. So instead of typing them out one by one, I believe Charlie and front office are getting together, working on putting together a list for all of us that has our classes and the student emails in a spreadsheet form, or at least they're going to show us how to pull that off of Infinite Campus. So we'll have student emails for your classes, and you can just copy them from the spreadsheet and paste them here, and then automatically invite all of your students for that class. So what happens when you invite them, so type in an email. Here, I'll invite Dawn so you can see she's on here. So there she is. And if I had more than one, I'd just copy paste all of them in there. Invite her. So when you've invited a student, and they haven't yet joined, they're going to be grayed out. So you can see all of my people that I invited, except for Miss Sanders. She joined. So now I have the ability to invite guardians. So you won't be able to do the guardian invites until your students that first day, they all get logged in and actually join your class. So once they're in, then I have—
Would you like me to join? Because I got the invite.
Sure.
Okay.
But once they're in, then you can choose those students who are have already, joined your class, and choose invite guardians. Once you do that the same way that you add anybody else, by email, and hopefully we'll have a list of those parent emails as well too. I don't know I think they're working on both a student and parent list. Otherwise you would just type them in one by one, get their email off of Infinite Campus, type it in here, click invite. Now once they join, either the parent, guardian, or the students, you automatically get a notification that they've joined as a student or a guardian. And once you have all your people in here, you can email everybody. So you want to set up the guardian report. So now Sanders is in there. So I can email all my students. I can do the same once I have a list of guardians over here. I can email the guardians. I can email both. And just like you can schedule assignments in Google Classroom, you can schedule those emails to go out automatically. The guardian report, that's going to be in your settings. So once you have guardians, which I don't have yet, but you go up in your settings and you would enable the class, sorry, that's the class settings. You go to your settings and enable the guardian report. And you can choose to have that go out daily or weekly. And I think the requirement for us was weekly. But this is where you would do all of that. So once you've got your guardians, you You can click it to select all of them, just like you can click to select all your students, choose an action, and then you can set up that Guardian report to go out to them on a weekly basis. I also have a paper that I'm going to send you to that is a summary of the weekly Guardian report. I won't waste your time going over it right now, but it just shows you what a Guardian report looks like, since I don't, none of us have one yet to get. So it's just a sample Guardian report that shows you exactly the information that they will receive. So they receive notifications about any missing assignments, also upcoming due dates within the next day. They see any recent announcements that the teacher has posted, things like that. Questions about that? Nope. Okay. Is there anything else that I should go over, Donna?
I think that covers pretty much what we're looking for as far as the setup of the Google Classroom.
Okay.
As far as the guardians, emailing once a week, the students' summary of assignments is perfect. If you wish to communicate more than that with your parents, that's up to the teachers. We have no problem with more communication. We just want it as a minimum. They receive notice once a week of missing assignments.
I would, this is G again, I would say that we probably want to be consistent with the weekly summaries as well. I would say that we know that Abby's saying that they technically have until really late at night on Sunday night to submit their work. So I think the discussion really needs to be, does it make sense then maybe to have the weekly summary, because if you can schedule that, when makes sense, when does that make sense to send it out?
Weekend.
Given that they have that end of the day on, on Sundays. So at least within your team or however you guys are setting up the content, if they have the end of the day Sunday, I would consider maybe sending it out at the end of the day on Friday.
Mhm.
That gives them the work, the weekend, and they can kind of see what they're missing and see what was due. It also depends on when you're gonna, when that actually looks as missing within Google Classroom. So just some things to consider, I would say, within teams, but I would say probably Friday night. By the end of the day, Friday's probably a good day.
Okay. And here I'll just show you real quick the adding guardians thing too. So if anything pops out at you about this, you can ask me now, but I'll send this to you later too. So this is the information that they receive: missing work, upcoming work that's due today and tomorrow. That's for the daily emails. If we're going to do the weekly emails, so they'll see like an overview for the week, what's due that week. Your class activity, so things like assignments and announcements, questions that you posted. Guardians don't see, other kids' information, and the kids in the classroom can't see the guardians' information either. So it's very private. So you'll go to your little gear in the upper right-hand corner for your settings. And then when you have, where I showed you the class settings too, and you've got your class code and all that. So once you have people who are signed up as guardians, you'll see this little toggle. You'll want to make sure you turn that on, and then you'll be prompted to set that up for daily or weekly. Yeah, very easy, simple, quick. One less thing you have to worry about doing, huh? All right, I think that's it then. If you guys don't have any questions for me right now, then that's all I have for you. So I'll just email that Guardian summary thing, and then the couple other things I have for you out in just a few minutes.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
PE related, and I know our classes are going to have hundreds of kids. How is this going to look on Zoom with hundreds of kids at once? Is it going to, I have no idea.
So you will be able to see them in the site. So if you go and click on participants,
Yes.
let me show you. Well, I don't know.
And that's fine.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see them like that. I mean, if you have the gallery view, you still won't be able to see them all, right? Because there's just so many of them. But you can scroll through and see them on the side.
Okay.
There are settings, and that's when the tutorial I'm working on today is like the recommended settings and showing you guys how some of the setting choices work in Zoom. So
Mhm.
that'll be coming out later. So you may want a setting where they don't, definitely where they're automatically muted when they come in.
Yes.
Yeah. And also then you might, because you're team teaching, so you might have one of you who are can scroll down and see if a student's hand is raised, or if you if they have a question, something like that, they've typed something in the chat, and maybe one managing that while the other doing other things. But yeah, you won't be able to see all your kids unless you go to the Zoom
Yeah,
panel,
scroll
go
them.
through the
Right.
participants. Yeah,
And
yeah, you guys are
that's how we're
basically,
taking attendance, right?
yeah, and I don't know how that's working. Admin, I don't know how you want them to take attendance for this. That's one thing we're still,
So,
yeah.
so we're still looking into that, Mr. Sodders. That's a very good question, a question we ourselves are
Okay.
asking. As soon as we have an answer, we'll push that out to everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to see if there is any type of report that shows who's checked into Zoom, since you've got to log in with the email.
Because and this is my first with Zoom, but I knew Google Classroom, like if we set it up like an assignment, they can click done
Correct.
or finished.
Yeah,
So I don't, can
Maybe
you
you
do that
don't-
with Zoom?
yeah, maybe you don't do, well, that's in Google Classroom, so we're still using Google
Well,
Classroom.
that's what I'm saying. Is there any way here in Zoom to possibly
Not
do?
with our free version. If we had the big expensive paid version, then they
Okay.
give you a report of everybody who's attending and stuff, but
Right.
it's not
We'll
for the
figure it out.
special. But so yeah, maybe Google Classroom, you still have a daily check-in with them, you know. What I did is made a Google form, and it was just a few simple questions. How are you today?
Mhm.
Did you struggle with anything? You know, so if you just say, hey, I need you to fill that out, click in Google Classroom, that's your attendance. As long as you do that, I know you were here. I don't think there's a way because otherwise you'd be hopping from assignment to assignment. Did they complete this one? No. Did they complete this one? Okay, yes. So they have attendance. You don't want to have to check 10 places to see if maybe they did something right.
I agree.
Yeah. So maybe some
We'll figure it
consistent
out.
daily check-in. That's what I'd do, I think.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Admin will let me know, but thank you, Athena.
Yeah. Figuring out. Well, thanks for coming, everybody.
awesome.
And yeah, I'm around. Shoot me an email, Slack. You see our new Slack channel. Got the YouTube channel too, so we got a couple of videos on there, and I'll be.
Yeah, I
adding
watched that one
more.
earlier. That was good.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Miss
guys.
Walker.
Bye.
Bye-bye.